And we are back with the second episode. And it took me a long time to decide because I wanted to do the starter packs first. Such a long time, and the fan favourite Trigger Happy was definitely, you know, do I want to go with my first ever level 10, my first ever fully upgraded character? Or do I go for the one which surprised me? And in the end I chose the one that surprised me. Now this is another one of them choices where, and yeah, I've literally just come back off recording Sparrow. This is, just to clarify, do not go down this skill tree, like, don't. I'll explain. So each Skylander I'll probably explain, because I know that I played all of the Generation 1 Skylanders except Warnado. So Warnado will be like the last one that I do, due to the fact obviously I need to try both his paths and judge which one I like more. But we're gonna go with Gill Grunt today. And I don't know how I feel about Gill Grunt. It was my least favourite. It was my least favourite for so long. Like, I'm not even kidding, like, I played Trigger Happy, I was like, well, wow, this dude's awesome. Then there was Sparrow, and I just saw this fish looking guy, I was like, oh well, I don't really care for him. And I really just didn't care for Gill Grunt, like, whatsoever. And I should have told younger me like how strong this dude was. Like, his wild power as well is ridiculously overpowered, and I'm not obviously reviewing his wild power because this is a Series 1 version. I do have a Series 2 version because, like, this is what I mean by, like, I only really bought the Series 2 versions of either Skylanders I didn't have in Series 1 or my favourites. Like, and this is like one of the only considerations where I actually don't mind the charge attack. Whoa, I'm about to get bopped.
Things are starting to get chippy in here, and by that I don't mean a place where one buys fish and chips.
But this is the first time in this video where I've like, I'm trying not to die. But this skill tree is not great.
We got ourselves a classic case of defeated enemy right there.
So if I go quiet, I'm trying to concentrate and not die. Like, this is what I mean, like, Gill Grunt is good. Like, I gave Sparrow a 3. But I ain't gonna lie, like, this skill tree is not very good whatsoever. Like, it was like, yeah, well, she was exploding sea stars, but they don't really do any damage. Like, they're not exactly very useful. Like, the infinite backpack's good, like, which is kind of a shame that it's down the worst skill tree, but you know. This is probably my best bet, just to keep spamming this. This is definitely the skill tree you want to be going down for him, like, the fire one, where he shoots. So we're going to look at Gill Grunt. So his basic first ability is Harpoon Gun, which is actually, like, it's quite good. It's weird because the issue I have with Gill Grunt is it's kind of like Sparrow, like, in a way. He's got this, obviously Sparrow has his fireballs, and he's got a shot, whereas Sparrow's fireballs are like, you know, they're fireballs, his hits harder, and then he's got his water spray, which to me is virtually useless. Like, the knockback was okay back in the day. It's good for mobbing against chompers and stuff like that, but when are you really ever getting mobbed by chompers? Then there's your Harpoons deal more damage, which, to be fair, is like a ridiculously good upgrade straight off the bat. Because he already does high damage with that. Fine with that. Power Hose does extra damage and knocks enemies further back. You know, if that was just knocks them further back or just does extra damage, I'd have considered that like probably the worst upgrade going. But because it does both at the same time, I'll allow it to be it's fairly decent. But you also have to bear in mind that it runs out at this point, which is a bad ability. Harpoons reload faster, you know, with that increased DPS, amazing, useful. And this is where we have the issue with Gill Grunt. He virtually doesn't have a third ability, because this jetpack is good for manoeuvring him about, but obviously it runs out unless you go down the other skill tree. And this is where his problem is. Like, you pick this up and you get about you can get about that far before you really run out. I really need some food to eat, otherwise I'm gonna probably die. I'll probably mainly use my harpoon shot because it's technically better. This is normally my go-to for co-op, to be fair. See, this is where this comes in handy because you can just keep doing stuff like this. I know that obviously it'd be more efficient, but you know, it just keeps them away. It seems a little bit more fun doing it this way.
Oh wow, chill, Bill. It is a pretty bad day to be a bad guy.
See, nice.
Uh-oh, someone call an exterminator because we got rats in the building. So how'd you get a name like Chill Bill anyway?
To be fair, this is a good little combo. If you just put your controller like on your leg or something and just keep spamming your water, this works quite nicely. It turns me. I don't know. It's not a bad skill tree. Like, it's not a terrible skill tree. It just kind of falls flat on its face. Like, you can use it, but it's not as efficient as the other one. Plus, it's a pain to get because you got to hold circle while spamming square. It's kind of a problem if you didn't know. To be fair, I think this is probably the go-to thing to show off this skill tree. To be fair, this helps me get them like max level because I've noticed with Imaginators you can get them max level a lot easier than thingy because like the upgrades cost a fortune.
And believe me too, it does not taste good. Just, I mean, not good.
Skylander is taking some serious punishment. Might want to think about some serious retaliation too.
Actually, guys, I'll pull it.
Oh, that's going to leave a mark.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I take it back. This skill tree is not that bad if you're just messing about. It's a fun skill. It's not the OP skill tree, but it's a fun one. Should probably get around all these. Well, I just knocked. He just killed himself. But I think Imaginators is actually a decent game. Like, I really didn't think Imaginators was going to be any good at all. But yeah. Alright, now we're going to go into his separate skill tree. I like his design as well, because his design's quite cool. It's very basic, but it's cool. It works. So we're going on the one that I've got. So basically, the jetpack is useless unless you get this. The power hose and the water jetpack never run out of water. Like, that is a very, very good ability. Have an ability which you can just spam and move around a lot quicker. I rate that. That's a good ability. Then there's the power hose, deals even more damage, which, you know, it's low damage anyway, so it's like increase the damage a tiny bit, don't really make that much of a difference, but it's nice, I guess. And then there's this one which is Neptune's gun, obviously, where I've been spamming explosive sea creatures, which personally don't do that much damage, but they're just kind of there to be an annoyance, I guess, just to add DPS to your thingy. So this skill tree's okay, you can do it, but I won't go for it personally. Then there's your quadrant harpoons, like they deal even more damage. It's already like a sniper rifle anyway, a fast firing sniper, so this is an amazing thing. This is ridiculous. When it pierces, they're ridiculous, like just being able to like skew like full waves of enemies. And then it just gets even more ridiculous where you can fire 3 harpoons at once. Like the DPS you get on this is crazy. And his soul gem is probably one of the only like it's rare there's a charge ability I like, but I don't mind this. It takes like, I think, let's have a look. So, 1, 2. It takes about 2 seconds to charge. So out of the majority of the charge up ones, this is like the only one which I really don't mind. Like, I'm normally not a fan of charge up abilities, but I actually kind of like this one. And I remember like back in the day, like playing this game. And well, we won this one is obviously Spyro's Adventure. Like, back on Spyro's Adventure, this dude was like ridiculously strong. Like, the water ability was very bad on Spyro's Adventure, I'd say anyway. Because when I used it on my Spyro's Adventure, because I wanted the water, I always went to upgrade the weaker abilities. Like, I already really liked his like, harpoons and stuff, so I didn't really bother using it all that much. And then unfortunately, yeah, I chose. And then when I tried the other one, I was like, what was I doing? All this time, what was I doing? Deal with the chompies. Deal with that. Lovely. Oh god. So it's stuff like that you can just get away with doing on this path, and it's ridiculous like how you can actually get away with it. Oh, what have I done? I accidentally I let him eat some. I don't mind, he's dead anyway. Easy. Obviously I get it's a kids game as well.
Yeah, and looking back in retrospect, what were we thinking? I mean, really, like, these guys are totally good.
This skill tree can definitely be worked, but, you know, like, it's surprising because, like, I do personally nowadays I do actually prefer Gill Grunt over Trigger Happy, and it's weird. But I know personally that Trigger Happy is technically better than Gill Grunt, which kind of sucks. But and I'm talking like in a DPS type of way, like Trigger Happy has 3 damaging abilities, and poor Gill Grunt has 1 high damaging ability, 1 mediocre ability, and then 1 kind of useless ability.
Wow, this battle is really raging on, and that means you might even hear me say the same thing twice, right? Or whatever comes after thrice. I mean, I don't even know.
Don't bring that stuff in here. The main problem with getting kicked by a big guy like that is that it hurts a lot. That is the only problem, really.
I said,
Bites the dust. Believe me, too.
this round seems to be lasting forever. I want to give my boy his rating.
Like the Skylander is taking some light dapping, as we say in the business.
So I'm gonna try and be like as unbiased as I can about these. I'm not gonna lie, like I don't want to be like a super biased, like because it's my favourite I'm gonna give him a high rank. Like it's not gonna happen. Like he's not gonna get a high rank. Like with him only having, like, if you go down his shooting ability, you can literally easily rate him like a 4. Well, actually no, you can't because he's only really got 1 ability. If you either go down his harpoon ability and only use your harpoon, like literally you never use your water gun, you very rarely use your jetpack, or you can use the other one where it can actually make your other 2 abilities viable. Not bad. So what am I going to rank Gill Grunt? He's not better than Sparrow, like in terms of damage. Like well, I mean he can be, but I personally don't think he's better than Sparrow. Sparrow's safer, he's quicker, and he's got more CC. I have to give Gill Grunt 2.5. I think he's always going to hold that certain point in my little heart with the whole. Yeah, it was one of my favourites for a long time. But I just know full well that he's probably the worst out of the starter pack, and it's a shame. But all in all, if you don't have a Gill Grunt, definitely pick one up because he'll grow on you. Like he really will grow on you because he's such a good Skylander to use. Very fun, interesting, and to be fair, in some of the stories, kind of funny. But if you've watched this and agree with me, like people need to remember, like, this is my opinion on them. To be fair, like, I should have stressed that in the first one. This is my opinion. In the next episode, we'll be doing Trigger Happy, which is probably going to be like probably the quickest video going because Trigger Happy is ridiculously overpowered. But until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one where we're going to be doing Trigger Happy.